Hello and welcome to CEO Speak. I am Kanhaiya Singh. Today we have with us Mr. Ashwini Kumar, the CEO of ThinkSoft Global Service Private Limited. Ashwini, welcome to our show. First of all, let me tell you, ThinkSoft basically is a company which is involved in testing. And let's ask Mr. Ashwini what exactly testing means in terms of software development and this field.
Okay, now Kanhaiya, it's like this. There's a lot of money being invested in IT services, both clients and end users. This is an information technology society, and everybody is buying billions of dollars worth of software. And today it's more and more important for them to find out whether they really got their money's worth, whether the requirements which they wanted, what they commissioned, whether it's really delivered in the way they wanted it when it comes back to them. So it's very important for organizations or clients when they spend this kind of money to validate and accept and confirm that they indeed got what they wanted. Now traditionally they would either ask the technical vendor to do it or they would do it themselves. But today when operational efficiencies and costing and when these things are very important, I think the organizations and clients are looking for ways to do it in a very cost-effective manner. So they are hiring independent organizations to check out on the software, to validate the software, to accept the software and confirm to them that yes, they got indeed what they wanted. Otherwise so much of investment would not pay a return for them. So this is what we call as user acceptance testing, and it's gaining more and more importance as more and more money is going into software these days.
It is comparatively a very new concept to India. Maybe 10 years back it might have started, somebody might have heard about it. But then how did you get into this business, and what exactly do you do at ThinkSoft?
Yeah, actually at ThinkSoft we specialize in something called business requirements assurance, in the sense that we assure business users that they get their requirements delivered to them in a very proper fashion when they outsource, either outsource their development work or whether they do it themselves. So before it finally goes into production and the organization or the users start using it, we come in and we help them to validate that the requirement which they wanted is indeed in the software before it's going to production. Now India has been, as you know, a knowledge economy. There's a lot of people who know about financial services here. They know about ERP. They know about. We have a large pool of people who are educated and have worked in all these areas. So it's very natural for us also to get into advising users on how to accept and test their software, help them to do that. So in the last few years there have been and since users are also looking for third parties to help them, I think these two have come together, and there are a few specialist players who are able to come and offer these services. And
what basically do you do at ThinkSoft, and when did you start ThinkSoft?
ThinkSoft basically it's a 14-year-old company. It was a very boutique consulting firm from 1991 to 1998. 1991 is when we started it. And at that point of time, we were looking to, at least I was personally looking to be an entrepreneur, and I was looking at this whole field of IT services. And I found that there are a lot of people getting into technical part of it, coding, programming, etc., design, and so on. Then we postulated, or we thought that okay, there are lots of other areas where qualified people can contribute. Maybe in requirements analysis, maybe in requirements review, test strategizing. User
so it is basically either pre-ordering for a software,
exactly,
or post, even when you have the software you test it.
Exactly.
So you do both the things.
Exactly. So what we do is we help the user to manage the ownership of requirements throughout the life cycle. So when he wants to define some requirement, we can help him.
Right.
When he gets those requirements done and delivered, again we help him to validate that and put it back into production. And when it goes into production, we help them in the rollout phase, in the training phase, and so on. So we are sort of outside the software development life cycle. We just come in before, we stay throughout, we come in afterwards. So we help them, we own the requirements in partnership with them, in a sense. That's what we do.
But then isn't it very interesting that you, in spite of the fact that you create the requirements, you say that these are the kind of requirements that you have, and then finally you test the requirements when it is fulfilled by certain other agencies. Why don't you fit in the gap? Why don't you try and give them, so you can as well take part in the software development?
No, actually that's what the problem is. A conflict of interest will arise there, because we are an independent party, and our skill sets are not technical skill sets. Our skill sets are more domain skill sets. So for example, in our company, we don't hire computer science people. We hire MBAs, we hire bankers, we hire BCom graduates, we hire chartered accountants. Then we tell them enough technology to be able to the user acceptance job and help the user in testing his software and so on. So ours is more on the domain side, and we're not a technology company, and that's the reason why we don't want to get into that. Apart from that, it will be a conflict of interest. We can't test whatever we do. That's the whole reason why they are getting us to do testing on what somebody else has done.
When you started in 1991, you started with the same thing in mind, or you started with something different and finally graduated to this level wherein you apprehend that testing is primarily?
Actually, in 1991 we started with the same thing in mind, but the idea at that time was to remain a very boutique and small company. The idea was not to make it into a organization, build an organization or an entity or address global markets or anything. It was just to do some unique kind of work which would in a very limited sense be appreciated by a few enlightened CIOs, by a few enlightened users and so on. But then in 1998, I think India, how India went into the in a big way in IT services. They became a big player and a lot of people started coming. So consequently the need for these services also went up. So we thought it was the right time to make this into a successful business model, build an organization. So we went all out to start growing. We got in a venture firm to fund us. Then we went international with offices in London and so on. So it started off as a boutique firm, but then come 1998, 1999, we decided last 4 years to go the organizational route.
If I get you correctly, you are essentially a first generation entrepreneur and basically knowledge based.
Exactly.
So yeah. How has the journey been from 91 till now, 14 years?
It's been good. You see, I've been working in IT services from 1981, out of which about 7 or 8 years I've held jobs, but I think the entrepreneurial bug always bit me. So, in 1981 when I passed out of the Institute of Management at Bangalore, I didn't take placement. I started another company which we ran for 2-3 years, and it became the business model didn't work out. So then I took a job for a few years, but then I came back 1991. I started this. It's been very good, though at points of time, it's like running a marathon. Sometimes you want to give up and rest. But I think, the thought of going back to working for somebody or the corporate sector or that kind of life, I knew it was not suited to my personality, so one would persevere and go on.